Hey everybody, it's Savi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again. Ugh, I just got done watching Masterchef Season 12, Episode 4, Dish That Sent You Home. Oh, this episode sucked. I mean, it was such a wasted opportunity. It was such a wasted concept. It was such a letdown. I mean, this somehow I really don't like MasterChef Adult. I prefer MasterChef Junior because I feel like the kids are a lot less hard on themselves, and I feel like the kids, they're a lot more creative and they're a lot more positive and a lot less like dramatic, even though sometimes they are a little bit too much. But for some reason, I was looking forward to this episode. I thought, what a great idea to have a challenge where you have to recreate the dish that sent you home. That's a great idea. I mean, I'd love to see all these different chefs and their versions of the dishes that sent them home. I mean, that's cool because it's like it's almost a nostalgia type thing where you have like references in movies, you have like little Easter eggs. Like that's the type of thing that it is. It so yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but the way this episode was done was just terrible. I mean, I I I was so let down by this episode, and it all started when the episode started because they were showing the contestants clips from when they went home at first, and they were showing them like little highlights of from when they went home, and a lot of them were crying, and it seemed like this showing them all those video clips at the same time, it felt kind of like over dramatic and really queer, like they're trying to bait the contestants into crying, into having some extreme reactions. I mean, I honestly like I would probably cry. Not because it's like a sad thing, but because it's such a stressful competition, and to go home because you made a mistake, that can be very uh, heartbreaking, I guess. And, I guess I would cry too. But it really just seemed kind of cheap. Like they're just doing whatever they need to do to get these certain reactions and certain things. Like they're very focused on making this a show. They're not focused on the competition. They're not focused on the people there. They're focused on making this a show. And that's fine if the show is good. You know, but honestly, like this episode was trash. So then after that, of course, all of these contestants are making the dishes that got them sent home. And it was really kind of upsetting because a lot of the chefs were making tons of mistakes. And they all had these weird ideas. And you could tell that this MasterChef environment, it has kind of made them into weirdos where you look at a dish like, and this dish, it looked good by the end of the episode. In fact, it was called the best dish of the episode. But Black Forest cake, okay? I've had homemade Black Forest cake. My friend's mom made it, and she is German, he's German, and it was a really, really incredible cake. And it's probably like in my top three cakes of all time. And I've eaten a lot of cake. I don't know if you can tell that or not. Well, I guess you haven't seen any picture of me, but I've eaten a lot of different types of cakes, and Black Forest cake is one of the best. And this Emily, I really like her. I think she's probably in my top three of the people that are there. I was cheering when she got into the show, but she looked at Black Forest cake And she thought, how do I make Black Forest cake interesting? Oh, I deconstruct it. Like, ugh, really? Like that's and so they all did that where they looked at this dish that they made and they're like, how can I quote unquote elevate this dish? And to me, honestly, the way that you elevate the dish that sent you home is that you make it good. Like you make it a good dish and you don't screw things up. Like that's the way to elevate the dish, not by doing some weird thing like putting bone marrow at the bottom of a cheese souffle, like these very weird things. And although these are weird things, but they might work or they might not work. But they're objectively weird things. Because people on a normal daily basis, unless they're rich or unless they're food critics, they're not going to eat this type of stuff. They're going to come home, they're going to eat, I don't know, pasta Alfredo, they're going to eat lasagna, they're going to eat a turkey club sandwich, they're going to eat tacos. They're not going to eat, oh God, whatever that surf and turf was. Uh, that was also disappointing. Was a lot of the chefs. Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what happened there at all. It sounded like a couple of motorcycles passed a car or something, and a couple of retards. But to me, in order to make a dish elevated, you have to make it good. And a lot of these people there, they were not focusing on making the dishes good, and they were too focused on making them over the top, just different things like the Tommy. He was very disappointing. I really, really liked him after just seeing him in that one episode of his audition. And he seems like a really cool person, and I definitely love to eat, like if he had a restaurant or something like that. But he was going all over the top, and he was just doing all these weird things with his burgers, putting chorizo in the burger. But again, he thinks that's how you make something more elevated. And there's just something like really stupid about that. Like, do you think that when people made the chocolate cake, they invented the chocolate cake, you think that they looked at the chocolate cake and said, you know how we elevate the chocolate cake? We put shrimp inside it. Like, no, of course not. That's gross. Like, who the fuck would do that? And then you have Bowen, of course, and he made this weird surf and turf with like cucumber or something. And it was really sad because like I wanted to see what that was. Like there were a lot of dishes too where I wanted to see like the insides of the dishes. Like I just wanted to jump through the screen and like take some, I don't know, two forks, and just like dissect everyone's dishes and like see, ooh, what's that in there? Ooh, is that oh, it looks like this fish was murdered by suicide. Stuff like that. Like just like dissecting all these dishes because it seemed like there was a lot of variety and there was a lot of dishes that they all looked really good. Even the bad ones, they all looked really good. Well, actually, no, the pasta one didn't look good. Ugh. But another thing that really pissed me off. Now this, I gotta be honest, I really regret saying that I would review this season because Gordon announced that all the chefs on the show would have to cook three identical dishes every single episode. And I just think that, as I said in the Masterchef Junior review, that's the most stupid, asinine thing ever. Now, it has been done in other cooking shows before. In fact, if you want to look at a show that I remember definitely where they did it. Worst cooks in America. They would have to cook. I think for the finale, they had to cook three identical plates, but for every other episode, it was just the traditional, one or two. So I really don't. I think that that's really stupid that they have to do that. And now we're going to have this thing where, oh, they cooked that dish correctly, but they didn't cook the second and third ones correctly. And with Tommy, he even had buns missing on the third plate. And so already we're going to have this stupid thing where, they got that right, but they didn't get the other two plates right. Like, wouldn't it just be better to judge the food for the food and not like this? It's not the restaurant challenge. It's just, ugh, what a stupid idea. Who came up with that idea? I mean, what kind of a dipshit came up with the idea that, I don't, I guess it's because it's season 12. Are they going to do the thing where they're like, it's season 12? It's season 12. Like they did every single episode in season 10. Like, that was so annoying. And that's what it feels like. Like, making three identical plates just a stupid. I can't believe they're doing that. And so there was one chef who was particularly surprisingly bad. And he was this young guy. I can't remember his name. I wish I could. I can picture his face. He has glasses and he has a. I can't remember. I can picture him though. He looks. I don't know. He's this young guy, and when he was eliminated, Gordon actually funded his culinary school adventure, his culinary school experience, and so he has this huge advantage over everyone where he is Gordon's golden boy, and so he's gonna have this little bias shield that Gordon will give him because he doesn't want to look bad by eliminating him in the first episode. And he had one of the three worst dishes of the episode. He made this pasta dish and it was terrible. The filling was bad and the pasta was way too thick and it was very simple. And surprisingly, he did not get sent home. And to me, all I could think was, this is where it starts. We've already got bias because Gordon doesn't want to look bad. He doesn't want to send the guy who he gave culinary school tuition to, he doesn't want to send him home. That's pretty sad, honestly. Like, if I did the same thing, I would have sent him home easily because it's a competition. Like, you can't play favorites unless it's someone who's really cool. Like, I don't know. I'd have to think, like, who would I legitimately want to play favorites for? Like, if I was a judge, I don't think I could do that type of stupid thing, playing favorites. But the best dishes, you had Emily. She had the deconstructed Black Forest cake. She won. And then you had Shanika. And she had egg yolk ravioli. And she did a really good job too. And honestly, another thing that I really don't like is this really fake and queer, and by queer I mean stupid and weird. I don't mean like the way that people have twisted nowadays. This really queer, like, dramatic relationship between Shanika and Emily where they have a little rivalry, and it's really dumb. Like, it's really, you can tell that they're not a rivalry at all, and you can tell that they're just kind of playing it for the camera, and it's really stupid. Like, it's even more childish than anything in MasterChef Junior that I saw this year. Mafia Don. Ugh. Uh, but it's just stupid to do that. To have, are they going to do that the whole season? Are they going to have this little back and forth the whole season where they just make little snide comments, and it's this weird, like, maybe they'll even have a hashtag like hashtag Shanika versus Emily, hashtag shitty cooking by Emily, hashtag badass Shanika. You know, like, are they gonna have some stupid hashtags with that shit? Uh, so I don't like that. And then, oh, who was the other guy? The other girl. Wait, who was the other person? There was one other person who also, I can't remember. It has just completely slipped my mind. So I apologize. But this third person, they had another dessert. And so I thought that that was pretty cool. The fact that it seemed like these chefs are pretty good at doing desserts. Because that is a typical problem on these Masterchef shows where you have a lot of these chefs, they're two-dimensional chefs because they can only cook entrees and appetizers, but they can't cook desserts. And so I really liked how two out of the three were desserts who got nominated for the top three dishes. And then the bottom three, well, first, before that, before before the top three worst, the bottom three worst, they did this really, really stupid thing where the judges, they walked around the entire room feeling up people's dishes. And normally they just go around, kind of asking questions, and uh they walk around quietly and they inspect things. But in this episode, they go around like feeling up people's dishes, not feeling up people. Obviously, they can't do that. Like Gordon, he took a sticky toffee pudding and he just like ripped it in half. And, they're like picking up, they're just like snatching stuff off of there and just like picking it apart. Like they're, it was really uh, rude the way that they were acting to these contestants, and they were like being really harsh and saying these really shitty things to people, and it was just really over the top. They were basically, all three of them, they were acting like Joe, and nobody likes Joe. Joe is well, I don't know how anyone could take him seriously after in MasterChef Junior Season 3, he gets on the floor next to a little girl and he does yoga for her, and then he falls over and knocks everything to the all over the place. I don't know how anyone could take him seriously after he did that. That was just so pathetic and dumb that I don't know how you could even like like that era of thinking of him as like a really, ooh, I don't want to get criticized by Joe. Like, who even cares anymore? I mean, he fell over doing yoga at MasterChef Junior. That's pretty pathetic. And so they were all three just walking around acting like Joe. And I was thinking, are they all gonna act this shitty the whole season? Like, are all three of these judges gonna act like over the top because it's season 12 and this is MasterChef Legends back to win? Bullshit. Is that what they're gonna do? Because if so, I don't want to watch it. Like, I really don't. It's really bad. It's really, I don't like that at all. I don't like how the judges are acting. I didn't like how they walked around and did that at near the end of that episode. I hated that. That was, it was such a turn off. Like the way that they were acting. They were acting really unprofessional. And I did understand a lot of their complaints. It's just the way that they were talking about their complaints, the way that, like, sometimes maybe I do rants. But when I do rants, it's because these movies will put me in a bad mood. And so I just want to demonstrate that through my ranting, that they put me in a bad mood. But when these chefs, like, they're walking around picking up people's ingredients and like tearing them apart, and but they did have a lot of legitimate criticisms. And one of the things that I was most interested by was Dara from Masterchef Junior, who's gotten really cute. Honestly, she's looking really cute in this show. Like, I mean, she's and so she did the prawns dish from MasterChef Junior season 1, and the prawns, she said that she seared them, and they picked one up and they said we can't even see where this was seared at all. And so I really wanted to see them like judge like dishes like hers, because she went to the finale. Like, she didn't just go to episode 3 or episode 5. She went to the finale. So the bottom 3, as I said, you had Tommy with his burgers. You also had the kid who Gordon gave tuition for culinary school. He should have gone home easily, in my opinion. And then you had Steven. And Steven's dish was really sad. You know, that was also the saddest part of the episode. It was very negative because he forgot to put gelatin in his panna cotta. And it was, as Joe said, chocolate milk. And it was really sad seeing that happen to him, and seeing them, you know, be really harsh and tough on him, and especially Joe, because Joe was like, you know, he picked it up and he said it was inedible, and he like poured it all over the plate, and then he said it's chocolate milk, but it's not even good chocolate milk, and so you know, that's what Joe. I mean, is he gonna do that every episode? I mean, just ugh, ugh. I give this episode a D plus. It is better than the, well, no, actually, no, fuck that shit. I give this episode an F plus, because it is not better than the MasterChef Junior semifinal. And just that alone, just thinking about, isn't that kind of sad that MasterChef Adult season 12 is worse than a MasterChef Junior episode? I mean, that's a low point. So they really, I don't think this season is going to be very good. I think that this season is all based around fan service, and all based around how maybe Gordon really liked a couple of them, and so he really wants them to get a second chance, including this kid, including the Spice Queen, which I can't wait to see what she does more, because she seems really nice and cool. But that's what it seems like this is. It doesn't really seem like it's going to be a good season. So please like this video and comment and tell me what you thought of the episode, because I'm not a fan of these new additions to the show. And then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more MasterChef reviews. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.